All right then, Bobby Lashley, welcome to the run-in. And this is a big one, isn't it? This is a battle of the giants, and it's been a long time coming.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think it's that fight that everybody wanted to see for a long time. And as a competitor, as a challenger, as a wrestler, as a superstar, whatever you want to call me, it is a challenge that I want to face myself also.
I think knowing fight sports and knowing WWE, there's a lot of times you get these matches that you'd call dream matches and you think, they're never going to happen, they're never going to happen, and then eventually they do. How was that from your side, being the actual, one of the guys in the match?
I got to a point there where, I was being asked at like every interview for years. And I got to the point where I was like, maybe this isn't going to happen. But I'm okay with it. I was okay with it either way. The Brock matchup was something that the fans wanted to see for a long time. From the beginning of my career, I've been asked about this match. So I know it was something that they definitely wanted to see. And as the years went by, I was like, well, maybe this may not happen. And if it didn't happen, it wasn't like the end of my career. It wasn't like a big letdown in my career, because there are so many great guys to get in the ring with that I look at as still dream matches. So this definitely is a huge one for everyone across the board. And I'm finally glad that it's going to take place.
Yeah, what takes precedence there? What are you happier about, getting the match or the fact you're just not going to have to answer that question anymore?
I think I'm always going to be asked that question. I think even after the match is over, there's going to be some still unresolved questions from the fans. But I think that just having the match is just going to be a big thing. There hadn't been a point really where me and Brock actually went face to face. I think there's going to be a lot of pieces of that match that people are going to be like, I really want to see this. I really want to see when they start throwing some blows. I really want to see when they're face off. I really want to see, so we're going to give them a lot of that this first go round, but I'm sure this won't be the last.
Now you've got the sort of benefit of hindsight and you know that it's going to happen. Are you happy that it's happening in this period of your career when you've probably been at your strongest? You've obviously come off the back of the title runs. You've had this amazing return alongside MVP as well, and this incredible couple of years on Raw. Are you happy that it's happened now?
I think this is a good time. I think it is a good time. Of course, we all wish that we could have been in our 20s where everything was flowing so great. But right now, I believe I've gotten better over the years. Even being an older athlete, I feel like I'm all the way across the board. I'm just a better person to be in the ring with. And I think that I can deliver a better match. This Bobby is going to be the best Bobby for that matchup.
And it's not just the best Bobby as well. It's probably the best Brock we've seen in a long time. The most invested that anyone's been in Brock Lesnar for years. He's really enjoying himself, which must make you feel even more excited about the opportunity to have a huge face-off with him.
Yeah, because there is, like you said, the levels of. There is, Brock had his levels of, I'm just Brock, I'm just going to throw people around. But he's actually playing with a lot of different things and have fun with it. So with that being said, I mean, it is going to be something exciting to go out there because we both know what we have. We both know we have to lose. And then the title's on the line also, which is a huge thing. So with the title being on the line, that just adds a little bit more element to it.
Is the opportunity to have a match like this, two legitimate tough guys, two guys with MMA background, two total athletes, as well as stars in the WWE. When you look at that, it's an opportunity to have a different kind of match from what you've probably ever had in your career. Are you looking forward to sort of looking outside the box and having something completely different from what people have seen before?
Oh, 100%. 100%. There's so much that people want us to see, this has trickled over to the MMA community also. Because I saw some guys posting about it and they were like, man, we want to see Bobby fight in the cage. We want to see Bobby fight in the ring. So with that being said, the traditional match is not going to be something that we're going to be into. I think me and Brock have so much more to deliver and it's going to be so different. That's what's kind of exciting about me. This is right now, hell, the Royal Rumble is the biggest pay-per-view of the year, just because of that matchup. So we got to deliver, and I'm ready to deliver. I mean, I've been training my butt off. It's been fun. My training camp has been super fun. because we're putting in more time and more effort into more of the fight aspect of it, because this is something that's going to break down into a fight eventually. I'm sure of it.
And you mentioned Royal Rumble feels like the biggest pay-per-view of the year already. It is the one, and we've spoken about it on this show before. We've spoken about how it's the one that kind of attracts the most casual eyes. You don't have to be watching WWE week in, week out to know how a Royal Rumble works. So loads of people are going to be watching. Now, you've got to compete with some pretty big matches on that card, but how confident are you that this is going to be the biggest of the lot?
We don't even have to do anything for this thing to be the biggest match. Just because the match is booked, it's already the biggest match. I mean, there's some cool matchups that I want to see across the board. I mean, Roman and Seth, Seth and Roman, I think those are top of the food chain, both of those guys. So I know they're going to deliver some amazing stuff that people are going to be talking about forever. But, you know, this is just one of those matchups that hasn't happened, and people have kind of begged for it to happen for a long time, and it's finally being given to them. So I think it's one of those matches where if we just walk in the ring and stare at each other and get face to face, the Rumble is going to go crazy. The minute a punch is thrown, the minute somebody gets thrown, the minute Brock takes a spear, the minute he taps out, you know, all these moments are going to be huge moments in the wrestling history.
So we're talking about the build-up. How much did you enjoy spearing him through the barricade?
Made me feel good. It was one of those things that needed to happen. You know how they say shots fired? Somebody had to do it. Because I was being asked so many interviews. When is you and Brock? When are you and Brock? And I was like, look, I'm not saying that I'm going to call the man out, because that's not what I do. That's just not my style. But I'm saying that I welcome that matchup. I welcome any matchup. I've been fighting forever. So I welcome every matchup. And that matchup is one that I said, you know what, I'd love to have it if the opportunity presents itself. So in order to do that, since he wasn't going to do anything, or Paul wasn't going to do anything, I had to take the first shot, and the second shot, and the third shot. So I'm sure there'll be many more shots after that.
And you mentioned as well that it can't just be one. You're already looking at WrestleMania.
Yeah, because that belt's on line. I beat him for that title. He's going to be and he's going to want revenge. If I come up short, then I just need to go back into the drawing board, and I need to do whatever it takes to get back there. Because I always said I wanted to end my career with that title around my waist. And right now, he's kind of hindering that. So I think that I'm the only person that can pull that away from him right now.
Do you think this is the biggest match you've had?
Well, I mean, the Big Show was bigger. I mean, if we're talking about just weight-wise. But as far as like the biggest matchup, I'd say probably. But you know, let's look at it. Like Drew McIntyre is the future of the business. I think he's going to be one of the biggest names in the wrestling business. And I had an opportunity to get in the ring with him several times. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, you know, there's a lot of guys out there. So I can't always say the biggest, because the biggest is hard to compare. But for right now in my career, I can say it does bring a little bit more than any other matchup for me. Yes.
So yeah, bit of a shout out for Drew McIntyre there. This most recent run of yours in WWE, is it Drew who's impressed you most?
Drew has really impressed me all the way across the board. Just developing into a character, his look, his everything about it right now. I think he's figured out a lot of things, and the things that he's figured out has made him a superstar. I think he's one of the guys that are going to transcend the wrestling business and be bigger than anything. He's going to get to that level of the Cenas, the Rocks, the Romans, and everything like that. I really see that in his future, and he has time. He has time to develop, but this year has been huge for him. But I mean, there's a few other guys I think that have really stepped up and showed what they were capable of doing, and I think the roster just getting stronger. It's getting so many guys that are stepping up. I think it's going to be a fun next couple of years.
And I've got to ask you, obviously we're talking about the Royal Rumble. You're preoccupied on the night, but normally when you say to people, who's going to win the Rumble? They just say, well, obviously me. But you've got your own thing going on. So who do you think, or who would you like to win the Rumble?
To win the Rumble and then face me for the WWE Championship. Man, I don't know. You know, I think Big E is definitely one of the favorites. just from having the world title and just recently losing it. I think Drew, if he comes back and he's in time for the Royal Rumble, I think he's definitely a favorite to win it. Kevin Owens does some crazy stuff, pulls some stuff off. I don't know what he's going to be pulling. I don't think there's a clear person that I can say is like, it's his time, because you have some people like Riddle, you have Randy, you have AJ, you have all these guys that are just kind of waiting to see what happens. And I don't think I don't think we can go wrong with the Royal Rumble winner. I think there's so many guys that deserve it. I think there's so many guys that can really hold that torch of challenging me or Roman. And so I really don't know. As a favorite, I'm gonna put my 2 up there as Drew or Big E.
All right then, Bobby. Last thing, final words to Brock Lesnar.
Well, you know what? Let me backtrack a little bit. Okay, you said who is my favorite to win the Royal Rumble? I think that there is a possibility. Okay, Big E, Drew, or Brock. Let's put them all in there.
All right. So in the words of Paul Heyman, that's not a spoiler. Sorry, that's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
Yeah. And just to Brock alone, I mean, I'm not a normal guy. I'm not the regular guy that you've been in a match with. I'm not just any wrestler. I'm not just, the Almighty or whatever. I'm something different. And if you're not training, if you're not ready for this matchup, you will be surprised. He said, Bobby who? I kind of want to get the t-shirt so that I can let him know afterwards. Remember my name.
Perfect. Bobby, thank you so much for your time and the best of luck on Saturday, the 29th of January at Royal Rumble. It's the big one. Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar. I can't wait.
Yes, sir.